Hey, it's Karen from Liongate Farm, and today I am going to teach you how to make these 30-minute gnome ornaments. And they're so cute. So let's do it. Hey guys, so today we are going to make these Pinterest inspired gnomes. I'm gonna use them as ornaments, so I'm gonna string them up so that they're hanging. They will sit on the table. But it's a pretty easy, fun project. I'm seeing them all over Pinterest, all different people. I don't even have somebody that I can credit the design to, but this is my tweak on the design. So if you see them out there, just know it's not original, but let me show you how to make them. There's a little fat one. He's like on a ball, and there's a skinny one. They're pretty much the same how we do it. So mine do have curly hats. The ones I saw out there did not, and I'll show you how to do that. Got a little like piece of greenery stuff and some bows. So you need core wool. You need a tiny bit, smidge of nose color. That's probably way too much for the two. I'm going to use Merino Sparkle on these guys. I can make a brown one, or I mixed like lemon lime, fur, and Kelly green to get this mottly green color that I'm going to use. I didn't like them by themselves, so I mixed those three colors just using my hands to give me this funky color of green. It goes really good with the red hat. So the other things you need, piece of 18 gauge wire. That goes in your hat. You need a skewer. And then your various finishing greenery. I've got some bells and some bows here that we'll glue on afterwards. So let's get started. We're going to take a piece of core wool. I'm going to keep taking pieces, okay? Let's make the little fat one first, the little chunky guy. And what I'm going to do is just wrap this tight, super tight, in a ball. And notice I didn't use a lot, but it's really tight, so I shouldn't have to stab it too much, right? And then if you're looking at the guy, you're like, okay, it doesn't need to be too much taller, but he definitely needs to be bigger around. So I'm just going to wrap it around right now. Sometimes when I'm making these inner guts, if I have like leftover pieces that I don't think I'm going to use in anything else, I'll stuff them in the middle of these. Again, I'm making it super tight. And now, oops, way too tight. It slipped off. All right, let's get back on there. See, real world problems. Let's just stab this around. I'm going to do the little brown guy out of this, the little brown one out of this. So I'm rounding off the top. This is really a small ball. Let me see. Way smaller than a tennis ball, but bigger than a ping pong ball. Got to think about it. Boy, I was thinking about you guys the other day and stabbing myself because I stabbed myself so bad the other day. I was like, oh my gosh. And John just laughed. We're fresh off of Oregon Flock and Fiber. My shop's a little empty. Hopefully I got everything deactivated that sold. It is possible I did not. So if you purchase something and I don't have it, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Cannon. He's trimming. I made a bunch of these guys. And he's over there trimming all my stray fibers off. Cannon, you have a job. Okay, so we have this little ball. You can see it's really small. Fits in the palm of your hand. I told you I'm going to do brown. So this is that ginger pup color. And our goal here is just to cover the core wool. I do the bottom last, but just wrap it on. This is a fast little project. Be a really good. I'm making mine into, like I said, I'm making mine into ornaments because I have a giant holiday bazaar coming up. The second week of November, so I've gone into serious production mode on ornaments. So you might be seeing ornaments the next couple weeks. Next week, so what's the date next Wednesday, Cannon? So next Wednesday, October 2nd, we're going to go live. And we're going to make a harvest sheep garland. I will have kits available in my shop starting tomorrow, I think. I already have the kits. I just haven't got them uploaded yet because I've been going crazy since I got back. Doesn't that one look like it's made out of dryer lint?
The hat, yeah.
Yeah, the color of that hat looks like dryer lint. You know, there are people that felt with dryer lint. See, even this ball came out bigger than I really wanted it. I mean, it's okay, but it's bigger than I wanted it. So I'm just going to felt it down a little bit. You probably could use little dryer balls to make these. But again, I wanted these small because they're for Christmas trees, holiday decor. And mine are going to be hanging, not sitting. Although you can make yours sitting, like I said, because I make the bottoms flat so that they will sit. So every so often I'm testing here to make sure he's still good. And the reason I felt this up really nice is because then I don't have to go back and do any more. See, my ball's getting smaller again. This is some, Ginger Pup is a floofy roving. Felt really good though. All right, so now we have our little ball covered in Ginger Pup. And if you can see your holes, like I can see mine a little bit, there we go. So next, you need a bit, just a little bit of a skin color. I am working on my own brand of skin color. I think I've got it dialed in. I'm very excited. I debuted a couple balls of it at Oregon Flock and Fiber this weekend, and people bought it. So it must be a good color. So I will go ahead and have it produced. I'm going to have it done at a mill. She's going to make me roving. She said I get to go to the front of the line once I send her my ingredients and my ratios. So pretty exciting because I really struggle finding a good skin color out there that I like, that's consistent. So you place the nose right about there. It's not at the top. It's not directly on the side. It's just up here near the top. Okay, so set him aside. Now we're going to make the hat. And that one I am using just this is some Shetland, I think, that I had. It's a nice brown. Take your skewer and you've got a piece of wire. Since I'm using a smaller skewer, this is about 7 inches of wire. So I want about 1 inch sticking past the skewer. And that is actually where I'm going to start. And we're going to wrap to the end of the wire. This is the tip of your hat. And you know how I do that so that your wire doesn't show. And remember, wrap flat. Always wrap in the same direction, going back down. Because then you can twist your wire later if you need to. Oh, and I caught the end. Get out there. Okay, we're going to wrap back down to where we started. Remember, we want this skinny up here. This is the end of the hat. And it seems tall when you're making it. You can do the bottom half of this out of core wool. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I'm probably going to wish that I did. Hold on just a second here. Let me tear off a bunch. I am probably going to wish, because this roving is so thin. So now I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to spin it down. And I'm going to leave like an inch of the stick sticking out. I'm going back up. And I know I'm making this look easy. I've made a bunch of these hats. I'm going back down. Yeah, this is a way skinny roving. See, now I'm sitting here. I'm going to bend this sideways because that ensures the width or how tall my hat's going to be. So the hat ends up being about 6 inches tall. You need that extra skinny end, like four inches right here, to be able to curl it around. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Let me hook this. This is by far not fat enough down here. So you need all that to make this part. But see, we got to get to here. So I'm actually going to cheat. Since that roving is so thin, I'm going to take a piece of core wool because it'll build it up way faster. Stewie has joined us. Cannon was missing Stewie. Rip finally forgave us last night for being gone for a whole weekend. He really wasn't speaking to us for a couple days. All right, so I just added some width on that. And I kind of like that because it's going to get thicker as I add the rest of the color. See, there's always a way to fix things to make them go faster. But again, I'm still going to wrap in the same direction. When you make the hat totally out of the color, you don't have to worry about covering the core wool. And that becomes important because when you twist it, you see this, I have a little bit of core wool showing. But we won't because that's pure wool up there, pure color. Down here, it shouldn't matter so much. A little bit more. You can make 2 to 3 of these guys out of 1/4 of an ounce of color. But you have to do like 2 with the bottoms of one color, and then the hat is one color. You have to kind of reverse the colors, but 2 to 3 out of 1/4 an ounce, which is great use of fiber. So I have not pulled my skewer out yet. Remember, I did this. I pulled that wire down, basically to hold the size of my hat. And now I'm going to stab in here. Always poke this before you pull that skewer. All right, so here's our hat. When you're poking this, make sure you remember there's a wire in there. So now you go, how is she going to put that hat on that gnome? Well, I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to pull it down a little. See, it crunches up the hat up there. And I'm going to bend it in half. This is 18 gauge. And I'm making this little loopy thing right here. And then I'm going to take my skewer. And I'm going to make a hole. I'm giving him a lobotomy. Well, actually, this isn't really a lobotomy because it's not his brain, but it might be. And then I'm going to slide that in. And we're going to put this on. This is like 30-minute gnomes. Maybe we should call it that. This is a 30-minute gnome. Really, the hardest part is making the beard look cool, but it's even fast. 30-minute gnome ornament. So you really want to make sure that you get this hat attached. So when you poke way in there, you're grabbing the wool from up in here, poking it down into the body. You know, test it, make sure it's attached. And then we need a brim. I'm going to triple this up a little bit. So I doubled that up, and we're just going to come around. This I'm going to have to go around a bunch of times because it's so thin. The nose kind of sticks out because we're just making a hat brim. Oh, look, that was probably enough. And then tack it down. And let's poke this down along the edge of the hat. This gnome is mostly wrapping. That's all there is to it. So I'm poking down what I wrapped along the brim of the hat on the inside, and it's forming this edge. And then I'm going to do the same thing here along his nose. I like this brown color guy. He's kind of cool. So we have his hat, so you can take this and you can curl it around. Now see here where we have corbel. I said we weren't going to have to worry, but we do. Just make sure you have enough fiber to cover for when you bent it. So now what we need is a beard. And we're going to take some of this Merino Stellina. We're going to pull off some, because everything's better with glitter. We need a nice little pile. The way I was pulling it off is its fiber length, and that is important. So we're gonna, so we got the side of his nose, side of his nose. We're gonna put it on like this. Now this is persnickety, and you gotta feel where his nose is. So I want to be on either side of his nose, and feel for his nose. And then I want you to just let your needle find the around his nose. You can check to see how you're doing. Don't worry if you're on his nose at all little. So then I want you to take your nail. I'm just combing out his beard hairs. So with the bottom layer, I kind of look at where I want to go. So I know I want to come to here. I don't want to go past the bottom of the gnome. That's why I haven't put any color on the bottom yet. So it's a visual so I can see where the bottom is. And I'm just going to make it do a whoop-de-doo out there. Curve it around. Stab this in a little bit. Not a lot. Not a lot of stabbing. And now we're going to comb this down. We're going to stab around his nose. You want this line to be nice and delineated. Notice these guys don't have mustaches. I thought about it, but I like the beard thing better. So get it down there. Bring it to the curve that you already made. So to me, what makes this beard cool is we know that this curve comes to there. You can see I'm just tacking because I want this to stay floofy. So I'm going to take my 2 needle. And notice I'm just poking up and down along the fibers. I like making these, Cannon.
I can tell.
These guys are fun. So here's the curve. Now once you get it in, let's sculpt in a line. It gives us more curve right here. And then we want a line here. This is where I want them. You could put them wherever you want. And I put one in the middle. Just gives the beard a little bit of depth to add this sculpted line in there. And tacks it down. Because you got to remember, if people are putting these on their Christmas tree and you're selling them at a bazaar, you want it, if this gets stuck on a pine needle, it will come off. Cool thing about felted ornaments, though, is you don't really need to hang them on the tree. You can just chuck them at the tree and they will stick. So then we have the bottom here. Let's just finish this up. And now I'll coat the bottom because nobody wants to see a naked bottom of the ornament. And I've been curving mine in. Keep working that edge. Now, is this a fast ornament or what? I'm telling you, it's a 30-minute gnome. Maybe we should call it that. So can I have 2 new rams in the barn? Well, a ram and a wether. Had to get a wether to keep him company because he's so little. But he's not really little. I thought he was going to be littler than he is. Very excited about the genetics. He's very cute. He's very friendly. His breeder, his name is Blue Stinger, but they've been calling him Mikey. Let's get Mikey. So Mikey's in the barn. But I need a name for my other guy. He doesn't have a name. His ears are pink. That's why he got weathered, because he doesn't have the color a BFL needs.
What does that mean, weathered?
It means that he can't make lambs. He's never going to have the ability to make lambs. It has been removed.
Wow.
Yeah. He was banded when he was little. So I'm just tidying up a little bit, making sure I like it. Isn't he cute? Oh, he's so cute. All right, he is going to get this and this and this. Let's see if I can do it with the super glue. If you don't, I usually use a hot glue gun. It's just faster. But super glue works. Put some super glue on this. Probably stick it to my own finger. Super glue works. Maybe. And then I just go, I'm always do it on this side. I don't know why, but that's just the way I am. Might as well be consistent. That's going to go there. And his little bow's going to go there. This is some orange twine. I don't know if you guys have a Walmart near you, but in their craft section, they have these containers of colored twine. It's like every color you can imagine. It's a great place to get colored twine. Sometimes I dye mine. I think I dyed that one. You can dye twine too. That's pretty fun. Okay, and the brown guy is done. Should we go on to the skinny guy? Now we're going to do this thin little gnome ornament. He's looks way more Christmassy. So, same MO. Same MO, we need a piece of core wool, but this time we're going to use the skewer. So decide how tall you want him, and you're going to wrap a cone, and you're going to wrap it tight. Remember, work smarter, not harder. Look, I got a piece of sparkles in there. So we just know that this guy will have glitter guts. It was super fun meeting everybody at Flock and Fiber. You guys are like my super fans. That was my first time vending in the building. That was pretty fun. We had somebody try to scam us, Cannon.
Really?
Yeah. Craziest thing ever. This lady came up to me. She wanted me to run a transaction on my credit card machine with her credit card and give her the cash back. I'm like, there's an ATM out there. I don't want to run your stolen credit card. Thanks. People try anything these days. Okay, so notice I am poking down the top, and then I'm going to poke on the bottom until I get the height I want. So you don't want the cone too skinny at the top. Think width of the hat that you're going to make. You know, and I've tried doing this a couple different ways. I tried doing it with the hat included, and I didn't like it. You know, where I just wrapped the hat. Like I made the whole cone and just wrapped the hat. You can do that. You can. I just didn't like how it came out for me. So remember, don't make it as, if you make it too wide, it won't be, because we're going to add another color. So there's our height. Then take out the skewer. And now I'm going to use some of this stuff that I mixed up. This one, the bottom color doesn't matter because it's all mixed up. It's like green dryer lint. It's just a whole bunch of different greens. I could have taken it out and done it on the drum carter, but I didn't want it really well blended. I wanted it kind of modeled like this. So this guy, I'm going to do his bottom at the same time. But because my roving is not smooth, it's going to take me just a bit longer to get this all poked in. You can mix any color to get any color you want. Blending your colors is fun. It's also fun just to go to your stash and have the color right there, but I didn't like any of the greens. The one I mixed here has a little bit more yellow in it than the one I'm doing right now. Again, I mixed lemon lime, Kelly, and Bodhi. I mixed those. No, I'm lying. I mixed lemon lime, Bodhi, and fur. That's what the dark color is. I love that new fur color. I think I made a whole guy over there out of fur. I've been testing out different colors to see which ornament I like the best. The thing about making ornaments is you want them to show up on a tree. So you don't want to make them too green. Yeah, I'm very excited about next week's live. It's going to be fun. It's Harvest Gnome Garlands. It's harvest season. Not harvest gnomes, harvest sheep garland. We're going to make some sheep. And it's a pretty simple, good beginner project. And you'll get 5 sheep and some acorns. And it's a fun one. Yeah, I like this tie-dye effect. Let's see, 30-minute gnomes. We're almost done with his body already. This taller, skinny one, you can do a way curly beard. Now, do you have to cover this top piece? Technically, no, because the hat's going to go there. Technically, no. So I round it up. We're rounding this up as I go. It's a little modified cone. Kenan, has your back healed?
It's been off and on.
Well, I joined you the other day.
You have lower back pain?
I should not have unloaded the trailer by myself. And then the truck. I twisted and I did something, let me tell you. So, no weed eating or anything for me this week. No twisting. Oh my goodness. All right, so we have his little body done. And then we need a nose. Don't make the nose too big. And you know I like to make big noses. And this one's going to go right at the top of this cone. So when you poke it on, just round it out. Sometimes you'll be able to see where you folded it in, like that. And if you do, just take another little piece of fluff and come over the top. And let's just cover it and make it all smooth all the way around. Tuck it all in. Wasn't there a show called 30-Minute Meals?
I'm not sure.
I know. Yes. It was like really popular for a long time. 30-minute meals. So now we're going to do 30-minute gnomes. Okay. So this guy's got more round nose, which is good. Do anything you want. And now we're going to do a red hat. This time, this is a thicker roving, but I'm going to do it all, show you with the core wool. All right. We've got our wire. And I'm going to bring it up. This wire's a little shorter because, you know, I wasn't measuring. I was just winging it. So let's make the bottom of the hat first. This is just going to be secure my wire. And remember, you don't want to go wider than the top of your head. I'm only going to go halfway up, come back. That should do us. And now we're going to cover it in red. you know, I always secure this. So when I pull out my skewer, I'm going to bend my wire. The reason I bend my wires is so it doesn't disappear. Ask me how I know that. I've had them disappear. So I'm actually going to start down here at the bottom. You want to hold on so it doesn't twist. I'm not going to worry about totally getting all this red covered, but if I do, it's awesome. If I don't, oh well. I did not have enough to go all the way up, but I am going to go all the way around. Starting back down here, let's smooth that out a little bit. So remember, we're going to go all the way to the end, and we're going to bend it. That keeps the tip of that wire covered. Remember to wrap in the same direction you were going. And now we're going to felt it down. So I spy with my little eye. I spy some coral in here. You know, you probably could make one of these dudes with a silver beard and a white hat. It'd be like Gandalf gnome. All right, I'm going to leave this a little bit uncovered, and I'm going to pull out the wire. I'm just gently felting this. Remember, only the portion of your needle with the barbs works, so there's no need to stab it all the way through. Besides, then you get white coming out. All right, let's attach it to our head. It is a perfect size. Remember what we did. We pull up this, bend it, scrunches up your hat a little bit of brain surgery. Stick your wire in the hole. You feel it go in. You definitely want it to go in. And then we're going to attach it to his head. So do you see what I mean? You could technically use a longer skewer and build the whole gnome on there to begin with. But I did it. I didn't like it. I feel like you get more control this way, especially because you have a wire in there. If you want the hat to stick straight up, you probably could just leave the skewer in there. Because straight up, they're pretty funny too. All right, so now we're going to take our red, make the brim of the hat. I'm telling you, this is the easiest gnome on the planet. So I go over his hat, over his nose a little, not too much. Bring that around. Now let's poke this down for a brim. Again, these are all over Pinterest, you guys. All over Pinterest, all over the internet. Oh my gosh. So many different ones. So many different little styles. So you develop your own little guy. based off of this tutorial. He just popped up in my feed. I'm like, oh, that is really cute. Let's see what it comes out like. I do not know if there's other YouTube tutorials like this. So again, I'm poking up the bottom, making that brim stick out just a little bit wider than the body. Right now, he looks like camouflage gnome. Rip is exhausted right now because Rip got to play with the puppies for the first time today. Trini tolerated him. I think she was like, thank goodness. And there's our little curly Q in our hat. Now let's give him a beard. Again, we're going to pull off a piece. You're looking for the staple length. The staple length means how long the fibers are in there. Because what we want, I'm making a nice little stack, is a continuous length. So the staple length of this fiber is about, what, 3 inches? And because his beard's going to go down further, I'm going to place this, I'm not going halfway, I'm going to place it up higher. So it will go down further. Just like we did before, we're going to come up here, tack it next to his nose, find his nose. This is a little persnickety. And then again, use your needle to follow the shape of the nose. You can kind of feel it. You know where it is. It's felting blind for sure. I've made so many of them now that I know that it works. Okay, so we've got that. So let's start forming this. So this will make the top of the beard floofy. So we know it's going to come down here. Let's poke that in. We're going to kind of comb it down. See how it goes past his body. You can come just straight down, but I like it with the curly Q in it. So this time I'm holding it down with my thumb while I'm securing this top portion. I'll come back up here in a second. I always make it go to the right, probably because I'm right-handed. Again, I like making that indent right there, following that curve. So follow the curve up. Again, I did not felt the beard down super hard until I'm putting in these lines. This project I've used, you guys, a 38 star spiral the whole project. You don't need to change up your needles. So now let's work this in up here so it's all connected. Oh, I like this because it looks like it has a twist in it right there. That's a piece of stellina that was stuck. Remember, stellina doesn't felt all on its own. It needs a little wool carrier. I mean, you can get it to felt, but it takes a lot of work. Sometimes you gotta work this a little bit to get it to look good. 30-minute gnome. Now let's dress him up. all done. He's gonna get a green bell. Seriously, is this like the fastest thing I ever felted? Yes. We'll give him a green bell. Let's see if I can do this without gluing my fingers. Come on, stick. This bell does not want to go on there. There we go. Bell is on. First couple, I had these cool acorns, or not acorns, pine cones, tiny little pine cones. But I like these things better. I don't know what they're called, but they look cool. Let's put his little bow on. I'm trying not to glue my fingers. And he's all done. There you go. 30-minute gnomes.
All right, action.
Thanks for joining me today while we made 30-minute gnomes. And you know what? You can make a million of these really, really fast because I did, so you can. So make sure to click like and follow us because it really helps us out. If you need supplies, head on over to the farm store, liongate.org, and check it out. See you next week.